Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Sunday, September 14, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a blessed Sunday. And in the news this morning, Blake hints at politics over professionalism after court halts his attempt to oust Cameron. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake has subtly defended his attempt to oust head of the Police Officers Association, Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron, in his latest column in the weekly Force Orders. While not naming Cameron, Blake, in a column dubbed Leadership, Discipline and the Transformation of Policing, argued that, by any measure, discipline remains the defining pillar of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This is not rhetorical framing. It is a legal and organizational reality enshrined in the very act that governs the force. According to Blake, the JCF is partially under military organization and discipline, with its officers expected to lead in that regard. This foundational principle is not ceremonial but operational. It is the blueprint upon which public trust, legitimacy, and internal cohesion are built. An important reality that must be appreciated is the fact that discipline is not evenly distributed. The expectations increase with rank, and rightly so. The officer corps is supposed to be the greatest exemplar of discipline. Officers do not simply manage resources, they are the custodians of institutional culture. They set the tone. When an officer gives a lawful order, the legitimacy of that order is grounded in the expectation that they themselves are disciplined and principled, said Blake. He added that leadership by example is not aspirational language, it is an operational necessity. This relatively small group of officers is responsible for the good order and effective management of the JCF. In any organization, especially one armed with legal authority and entrusted with safeguarding life and liberty, order and example must be inseparable. Where they diverge, dysfunction creeps in, declared Blake. The column underscores that Blake's insistence on discipline in leadership, particularly in representative bodies, is not punitive but protective. The JCF cannot afford leadership structures that reflect confusion, inconsistency, or self-interest. Representation must reflect that which is being represented. If the organization is built on discipline, then its representation must embody it. Not in part, but in full, said Blake in a subtle dig, seemingly at Cameron, days after he announced that the chair of the POA be vacated and the current holder would no longer be granted audience with the police high command, nor would he be permitted to represent the JCF outside of official duties. In a release issued to JCF officers last Monday, Blake said the High Command is concerned that reports of alleged indiscipline and misconduct by Cameron may compromise the conduct of the POA, particularly at a time when the organization is required to engage in highly technical salary and benefits negotiations with the government of Jamaica. Cameron has since scoffed at the commissioner's attempt to oust him, as he argued that Blake has no such power, and last Wednesday, the court issued an ex parte injunction preventing the move. The court also granted Cameron's application for stay of implementations of the decisions by the commissioner until a judicial review scheduled for October 8. It is clear that we'll have to test the legality of the commissioner's actions because from what we know, he would have overstepped his bounds, Cameron told the news last Wednesday morning as his lawyers headed to court to seek the injunction. He argued that the POA chairman is selected from the floor of association's conference at which more than two-thirds of the officers of the JCF are present, and that was done at the last conference in November 2022. But in his column in the Force Orders, the commissioner argued that leadership must be as precise, disciplined, and consistent as the system it claims to serve. When representation falls short of this standard, it weakens the credibility of the group and by extension, the entire organization, said Blake, as he added that his obligation as head of the JCF is not optional or discretionary. Discipline and good conduct as a requirement to lead any representative body within the JCF is absolutely non-negotiable. Those who place self above service or politics above professionalism will inevitably face the full weight of accountability, added Blake. In recent days, there have been allegations that Cameron openly campaigned in the lead-up to the September 3 general election, but the veteran cop denied this during his interview with the news. That is absolute rubbish, declared Cameron. I am a man of principle and I respect my office and my organization too much. I was never involved in any election campaign. I would expect people to put that type of foolishness out there, but it is not true. In fact, that is just laughable, absurd, added Cameron. He told the news that he believes he still has the support of the majority of the more than 300 members of the POA. Edwin Allen student dies after feeling ill at the track and field training. Edwin Allen High School in Clarendon has been plunged into mourning following the death of a student athlete on Friday. The school's principal, Jermaine Harris, told the news that during track and field training, 15-year-old Tanisha Gale, a grade 10 student, reported to her coach that she was feeling ill. He said she was initially told by the coach to take a break and lie on the sidelines, but when her symptoms worsened, she was taken to a nearby health facility and later Percy Junior Hospital, where they continued to administer medical care to her, but unfortunately, she did not make it. He said that the school community is deeply saddened by the tragedy. 6 goats found in car trunk. 6 goats were seized and 1 man taken into custody following the collaborative efforts of the Area 3 Agricultural Protection Branch and the St. Elizabeth Operational Support Team during an operation along the Gutters Main Road on Wednesday. Reports from the APB are that at 4:50 p.m., members of the team signaled the driver of a Nissan AD wagon to stop. He complied and the 4 Rams and the 2 Yos, valued at $450,000, were discovered in the trunk of the vehicle. The driver was interviewed and then arrested after failing to adequately account for the goats. His identity is being withheld pending further investigation. Delivery driver can't account for nearly $500,000. Lawmen assigned to the St. Catherine South Police Division have charged 27-year-old Marlon Henry, a delivery driver of Riverside Drive, Kingston 19, with embezzlement following an incident in Central Village, St. Catherine. Reports from the Portmore Police indicated that between July 3 and August 12, Henry collected money for goods on behalf of the company. However, at the end of his tour of duty, he failed to hand over the daily sales in full. Checks were made and it was discovered that $463,155 were not handed over by Henry. He was unable to account for the outstanding balance. A report was made to the police and he was arrested and subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.